Ask me who is not a pilot, and I think it'll be a shorter list. My mom, and that's it.
Welcome into the Future in Flight podcast, coming to you from a hangar somewhere near the flight line. And today, that hangar looks a little bit messy as we pack up and head to EAA AirVenture 2025. That's right, the biggest event on the aviation calendar, and we're going to be there. And while we're getting ready to bring you all the sights and sounds from the biggest aviation event of the year, we thought we'd offer you, our listeners, a chance to check out some premium content found exclusively in our upcoming flight club. So enjoy this great long-form interview with one of our wonderful friends, Ricardo Leon from Levil Aviation. And if you like these long-form style interviews, be sure to check out our social media and our webpage for details on the upcoming flight club, where you'll find bonus content, members-only deals, and invitations to some of the hottest events in aviation. And if you're headed to Oshkosh, be sure to stop by booth E11 and say hi. You'll find us with the Aviation family. And be sure to watch our social medias for all of the exclusive access we've been granted from EAA AirVenture 2025, where the spirit of aviation meets the future in flight. We match. Look at us. No one's going to be able to tell us apart. It's a good thing they have the name tags down there.
Right? Where do you get the Levil hat from?
Well, gosh, I mean, I got one from this really cool guy at the expo, Sun and Fun, probably, and now I see you can get like merch online, so I'm gonna have to get another one.
Yeah, just go. I think I met that guy before too. Pretty good looking guy too.
He is good looking if you can find him. So tell us a little bit about how, well, first of all, I guess we got to nail it down for the viewers. Is it Levil? How is this pronounced?
Well, it depends. Like a lot of people just say level because like in Spanish is Levil.
And how did that come?
And it depends on the mood because I also say both. We go by Levil. If my brain is set up in Spanish, then I say Levil. If my brain is set up in English, and then I just say level. But most people say level.
Well, that's good. You have a choice, which is really great. And that's one of the things that Level provides is a wide range of choices. So we'll get to that in a minute. But you also mentioned your Spanish brain. That is also a part of the Levil Aviation story. Tell us a little bit about where Levil Aviation, the Leons come from. Give us a little bit about that history.
So we are from Venezuela. The company moved to the US like around 2001 and it started as a CNC shop. Then now we also make CNC machines. And from there, it also Levil Aviation was born after the Levil technology side. But in the past, we still focus on CNC machines. So we do both businesses. And the name Levil actually is Ruben's, the owner's two last name. So it's Leon, his last name. And this will be Velasmeal, which is his maiden name. So it's Leon Velasmeal. So it's two last names together.
If there's some kids out there who are interested, they're kind of thinking about getting into the technology side of aviation, what is your advice to them? What would you suggest to those kids?
Well, aviation is a very, very small world. But even a small world, there's many different routes to go because you can go commercial, you can go just the hobby type, the home build, all that stuff, but always start somewhere. And you're never too young to start flying. You can start flying at any age. So you can start collecting hours. And that's how you get into aviation. Once you start getting into aviation, you will start to understand the technology as well, like what goes into airplanes and things like that. Because sometimes it's very difficult to know, like there's so many airplanes out there, so many different type of instruments. Some airplanes do have instruments from the 1960s. They're still working perfectly fine. And nowadays we also have some PFDs that gives you all of the information at once. But yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can always start doing some training. Even if you are 10, 12, 13, 14, 60 years old, you can start doing your training and start getting into aviation. And that's how you get into technology.
And you have a couple of nieces who are logging hours already.
They are, yes. I think 3 and 5, they started doing their like login hours. My sister, she's a CFI, and every year for her for the birthday, they take them to an hour flight. So it's kind of like very nice how you have it on your logbook. They have already their own logbook and see how young they started.
That's incredible. And they're not the only Leons that have started early. This seems to be sort of a family trait to start flight training early.
Yes. Well, my two sisters, I have two sisters, they're both pilots. And then Ruben's two kids are also pilots. I also have some cousins from that are also into aviation. So ask me who is not a pilot, and I think it'll be a shorter list.
Right, right. That's
My mom, and that's it.
and she works at the business, so everybody
Yes.
in Level Aviation that's so important just has that connection to aviation. So you're getting this really good internal look and years of flight knowledge into your instruments. So that's a really important part for
Yes.
a lot of folks to
And
understand.
not only that, we get every pilot is different, right? So one can think about one thing and the other one can have their own method, the other one has the other way to see things. But when we all collect our thoughts, it's like this is not how it should be, or this is more comfortable this way, or this is too old school. I want it to look like this, or this is what people are looking for. Some other pilots might catch something that the other didn't. So it's something that works for us. Like for example, for me, sometimes I fly very well, and then Ruben goes flying, and he says like, "Oh, I cannot read this letter, and I need it to be bigger." But maybe for me it's fine, but for him it's not. So that's some stuff that we have to adjust for the market because maybe I can just throw it in the market like that, but it's not necessarily what other people are looking for. So
That's it.
we get so many feedbacks from everybody.
Great point. And so many of you fly different aircraft, different types of aircraft. And so one of the things we're going to talk about today is that aviation isn't just that certified Cessna, Piper. It is experimental. It's light sport. It's paramotor. So there's such a wide range, and you guys seem to really touch on pretty much all of them within the family.
Almost. Maybe helicopters. We haven't touched helicopters yet.
No rotary pilots in the family.
No, no. Well, funny enough, my sister went to do she was doing, I believe, her CFI test, and when she went to get her written done, she did the run test. She did a test for, I believe, some type of helicopter something. And then when she went to do her check ride, the examiner was like, "You did the run test. It's for a helicopter." And she was like, "Oh no!" Funny enough, she passed it with like 90 something.
Well,
So
I mean,
that's the closest we have gotten to helicopters, I guess.
it's really such a Leon story right there.
It is, it is. But yeah, we do have all type of air. I mean, we fly all type of airplane. My sister flies global 6,000 like big jets. I fly experimentals, RVs, and paramotor, which is something that I'm getting into. So that's something. And like I say, if you're around us, you'll get the fever. You'll get into aviation as well. My sister's boyfriend, he didn't think like he would get into like flying or something. Like this wasn't in his head. But I started to train in paramotor, and he was like, "Oh, that seems like fun. Can I try it?" And look at him. We flew for the first time yesterday, me and him.
So no kidding. I
Yes.
love it.
So he got the aviation bug as well. Not necessarily by flying airplanes, but flying a motor, still flying, gets you up in the air.
That's exactly right. That's the point, is that there's so much sky up there. Get a piece of it. So many different ways to get up there. And even though, I mean, Ruben is an accomplished pilot, he's been flying for years and years.
Yes,
and he's
yes.
still looking for different ways to get in the sky. I mean, he flies the paramotor. He flies 464 Charlie Papa experimental. He's got the twin. I mean, once you get in aviation, I think once you get up there, it's you want to get
It's
up there
hard.
no matter how.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to get back down.
Yeah, and one day that might happen, but it's not today. We haven't quite figured that part of it out yet.
I know.
Anti-gravity,
One day.
Anti-gravity is going to kill the fuel industry.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the technology that's in aviation, of which you guys are a really integral part. One of your taglines is Avionics Reimagined.
hmm
You have reimagined them for affordable aviation. Tell us a little bit about the affordable market, and then tell us where your avionics fit into that market.
Yes. So the way the company was born is Ruben built an airplane back in 19. Ruben and Carlos, which is my dad, they built an airplane back in the 1995, which is a Cozy Mark IV. But the way they built it, they put two car engines in instead of a regular airplane engine. That made the airplane a little bit too heavy just because of the extra fuel, the extra engine, the extra stuff that they put. So Ruben wanted light instruments because we're trying to keep the weight down. So he was looking at other options that were out there that were lightweight, like a little screen, but they were just way too expensive. It was too much money for whatever he could afford at the time. So he decided to build his own. He said it cost him more to build his own than just buy the one that's already built. But he now has his own company. Yeah,
Yeah.
he now sells them. So
Well,
it's a
yeah.
it's a pretty good starting point, I guess.
Well, it's
And that's how that was born. He built his own display. He was built his own AHRs, but it was for his own use. It wasn't meant for like for sale or something like that. But somebody came, saw the airplane, and said, "Hey, I think I might know somebody that is looking for something like this," and that's how they got together, and then we started. That's how we got into aviation because we were doing CNC for the longest time. Ruben had a CNC shop back in Venezuela starting in the 80s. Then he registered the company here in the US. Then we started making actual CNC machines. And now somebody came to the airplane. It's like, okay, I want this for my airplane. And then, yeah, that's how the company started. And then we were doing stuff for this company. We developed this whole thing, the AHARS, which is one of the things that we're proud of, which is our artificial horizon. We're very proud of how we calibrated, how we the whole shenanigans that go to build a perfect AHARS. So we had that, and Ruben and Ananda, they said like, why don't we use an iPad as a display? And that's how the flying with iPad was born. So I would say we are the pioneers of connecting like a AHARS device connected to the iPad, and then a lot of stuff came afterward. But that's how we are, and how aviation started for us making affordable instruments is because we're trying to make aviation more affordable. We all want to get up in the air, but it can get very expensive. And we also want to try attract the younger generation or people like me. I wouldn't call myself younger. I just turned 30, man. I feel old. But
man.
we're trying to, we're trying to get the younger generation as well to get into aviation. And there is this thing that aviation is too expensive, which it is, but we're trying to make it very, very affordable for other people to get into the aviation market. So, or into the aviation world. It is by building your own plane or buying a certified airplane or getting into paramotor, paraglider, helicopters, things like that. But we just want to make it more accessible for other people.
Well, I remember
And
we had Van Zel Jenkins on Van Zer, and he is looking at some of your instruments. He is exactly saying what you're putting out there is that he's on a budget, as there's so many builders.
mhm,
And without affordable avionics, there's no way that he moves forward. Sure, he can build the airplane, but he can't get up in the air. And his mission is, as are many like clubs, experimental clubs, is to spread aviation. So you guys are fitting in there and really making affordable aviation available for so many individuals as a company.
yes.
That just as a base for your company is awesome. How many of your instruments utilize the iPad? If I have an iPad and I'm looking to get some avionics in my airplane, I want to do it on the cheap. Is this all your whole line uses them?
So yes, all our instruments, for example, we go from the very basic, which is a portable ADS-B receiver. If you fly multiple airplanes, so if you go from airplane to airplane, or if you rent an airplane, or if you're in flight training, then this one which is the Astra Plus, is like the great option. Just because, like I said, it's a portable ADS-B receiver. You take it everywhere, and you got your avionics, your artificial horizon, GPS for weather and traffic, ADS-B, ADS-B for weather and traffic, GPS for position, and all of that stuff. And then we move up the line. We have the iLevel 3 AW, which is what most people in our market use as a primary source of instrumentation because it has all those same things, aviation, weather, ADS-B, traffic, and AHARS. You got the GPS, but we also connect the pitot lines, so you can connect to the pitot-static system of the aircraft, and you can get actual air data. Because with the Astra Plus, everything is GPS based. The AW you got air data. You can also connect it to external devices, so like you can connect to like a GRT to see you can see your engine parameters on the iPad. So you can connect it to like a vertical power, so you can control all your electrical switches or flaps, landing gear, things like that from the iPad. And there's so many stuff, autopilots and things like that. So speaking of autopilots, then we move up to the line, which is we have the iLevel AP, which is similar to the iLevel 3AW, but we added autopilot capabilities. And that one we use like a trim tab based autopilot, which is a little trim tab, a little flap that controls the aileron or moving surfaces of the aircraft to control the entire airplane. And the great thing about this autopilot, it's very lightweight. The lightest autopilot in the world. We use RC servos to control that little trim tab that controls the entire airplane.
So you can do all that affordably.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing that there's an affordable solution for autopilot. We're already talking about being able to get weather and traffic affordably. Now you're telling me that there's an autopilot solution that can go into an experimental aircraft and be relatively affordable.
Yes, without breaking the bank. And now one product that I didn't mention, which is one of our most popular, is the bomb. The bomb, self-powered, self-contained. It's like a smart pitot tube, but you connect, it goes outside underneath the wing of the airplane and sends all of your information. You don't have to connect it to the pitot-static system. You just, because it has its own built-in, you got angle of attack indicator, ADS-B, GPS, self-powered, and self-contained. And something that we just released for beta testing will be the wireless autopilot, which it will work with the bomb.
Wow. I mean, everybody sees the bomb at the trade shows or online, and it's really remarkably designed, but it looks so cool. I think it's fair to say that many people know Levil Aviation from this product, from the bomb.
Yes.
How many people at a trade show or when you're out, how many people recognize you guys from that product?
I would say most people that recognize our brand, it will be from the bomb, because that's something that we did a lot of advertising and we're still doing, and people are. It's a nice looking thing. Like people look at that, it's like, what is that? And then we're like, oh, okay. So people actually know us as the bomb people and not Levil.
Well, and it's so true because it's out there in the market and it's just so recognizable. We'll talk a little bit about that being outside of the airplane. Now, usually pilots are inside with their instruments and wires connect. How does this thing outside get information to the iPad inside?
So the bomb has a Wi-Fi chip, so it sends all of that information via Wi-Fi to the iPad. So it's all wireless, no wires to be run through the aircraft. It's a pretty simple installation. You can install it on the strut, you can install it on the wingtip. I do not recommend to install it on the landing gear, but I've seen it done. If you have a retractable landing gear, I would not recommend it. If you have no other space, then I would say you can. But yeah.
Wow.
Just because the landing gear, it can be a clean area for airflow, but not if you're landing on grass. It can get a little dirty, and especially if the airplane it's a very low to the ground.
Interestingly done.
Yes.
So these instruments, we think about our Pipers and our Cessnas with these really intricate glass cockpits, and we see the price of these devices. Where is your market for these devices? To whom do you usually sell?
So we're selling mostly to experimentals and home builds. A lot of people buying like the iLevel 3AW, like as a primary source of instrumentation, because they can use iPad, make it look very modern, very, very good, like from 2025 without having to spend a lot of money. Our other big market is people that have very vintage airplanes that do not have electrical system, and the bomb, it's a very attractive way to modernize the cockpit. And we also sell a lot of people you can have the most expensive instrument, but if you always want to have a backup, then you have the bomb as a backup to connect to the iPad and things like that. So we cover all markets.
Well, so you touched on a little bit as a backup. So much about aviation is about safety, is about trying to make everything safe. Where did that mission come for you guys? I know that's a really big thing that Levil focuses on, is aviation safety.
Yes, we do. That's one of the primary things that we wanted to do the bomb as well, because you can have electrical failure and then you have no more instruments. You can have something can go wrong. You can lose your vacuum pump, then you don't have an instrument anymore. So our primary things is just safety and reliability. If you were to lose your screen, then from the iPhone you can make a safe decision to go back into the ground, to an airport or something. One of the things that happens when we first released the bomb, one of our first customer, he bought his bomb and he was flying to Oshkosh, and then he was IMC, and all of a sudden he just lost everything. And with the bomb, he was able to make safe decisions to get back to the airport. But yeah, I had a full electrical Nothing was working except for his phone and the bomb. That's all he had. And he didn't, when he mentioned he didn't do much of the calibration, he installed it and then he was going to do the calibration after his destination. But yeah, he was the bomb because the bomb is already calibrated. He didn't calibrate the AUA and things like that. But to get safely out of the clouds and things like that for the full electrical, he got back to an airport, got a mechanic to take a look, fix the stuff, all the stuff, and then he made it to Oshkosh.
That's a pretty great testimonial, and out of the box
Out of the
safety
box, yeah.
solution. That's
hmm
pretty good. Now, we talk about safety, and these products go through certification in many cases when we talk about the certified aircraft. And then there's this thing called the NORSEE
Yes.
approval, NORSEE policy. How does that fit in here? What is that process about? Because I see Level is one of the first up there when it comes to these NORSEE approvals. So where does that fit into the business?
So the NORSEE, it's something new that the FAA came out with, which is a when we talk about safety, so NORSEE stands for Non-Required Safety Enhancing Equipment. So basically, you get approval from the FAA for us, the manufacturer, to design and produce this product for extra safety. Now, this is not an installation approval. The installation approval is given by the mechanic, and it's all the mechanic's judgment to approve the installation of this device on the airplane. Now, if the mechanic deems is a minor installation, they can do a logbook entry as a minor alteration of the aircraft. If the mechanic is in the judgment that says, okay, this is a major installation, then they can file a field approval. But a field approval is not necessary unless it's the mechanic's judgment.
So there's a couple of different ways that it is available for your mechanic to put on the aircraft according to his judgment. And it sounds like it's really easy in most cases. So again, affordable, safe, and easy is a really good combination for people just starting out into aviation.
Yep. Yeah, so that's the whole goal.
So where do you see affordable aviation in the next, say, 5 to 10 years? Is this a market that's growing?
It is a market that's growing because there's a lot of competition as well. There's all new technology. Like I said, there's all new ways to fly. You can build an airplane for very, very cheap. You can fly, or you can buy a used airplane as well that it can be very, very cheap. Sometimes it requires a lot of maintenance. That's the only thing. But with new technologies, new airplanes coming out with new stuff, there is a life sport. You can get into life sport for find very affordable airplanes, but there's so many options to get up in the air that they can be an affordable way. Now, there is so many different type of levels on where you want to just get up in the air. You want to use it for traveling. You want to use it for go cross country, long distances. Yeah. So aviation I think it's going to have its own affordable side, and it still has its own expensive side.
Well, yeah, we are definitely seeing some projects that are pouring money in, no doubt.
Yes.
Now, some of those that might have a payoff downstream into affordable aviation include the electric aviation, or all electric making its way in. Where do you see that fitting into the market, into affordable aviation?
It's growing. The only problem is I think it's growing. Like, for example, let's go to the paddle motor. Ruben built his own paddle motor, and he built it an electric paddle motor. And I bought my paddle motor. Mine, it's gas. So we're trying to compare what's the big benefit. The only thing is when it comes to the electric one, the batteries can be very expensive. Just for 30 or 40 minutes of flight. Whether for me, we spend the same amount of money him building his own motor, but I'm pretty sure if it gets into production, he can get it cheaper just because motors can be cheaper than the whole engine. But the expensive part of the motor and of the whole thing it will be the battery. And batteries can also add a lot of weight. So that's what I see I do see maybe some future into electric airplanes, but they will not have don't have a very long range because of the weight.
Well, that's it. Weight is the consideration.
It is crucial in aviation.
And that brings us to a point about light sport. They have a weight restriction. Is that correct? We've heard you throw around light sport and experimental. We've talked about different types. Give me a little bit of an understanding of what light sport is.
So light sport, they have a lot of restrictions like weight, speed, and the minimum ratios that can have. I believe you don't need a license. Well, you don't need a license to fly light sport aircraft. Now, I do recommend to get training. So just don't go out there.
Just can doesn't mean you should.
Right? Yeah. Always get a professional to get you up in the air, because even though you don't require a license to fly a light sport airplane, then you do need to get some training and have an understanding on aerodynamics and weather and things like that. Because there's some stuff that we don't realize. Like we think like just get up in the air, just go flying, that's it. But there's a lot of stuff that go with it. If you're gonna get into light sport, is understanding airspaces. You have to understand weather. There's so many things that you have to understand. But there's a lot of people like when they retire, they just get into light sport. Light sport do have a weight limit. They have a limit of passengers that you can take. They have a limit of I don't think you require a medical certificate, but like you will do in aviation. But those are the restrictions that you cannot get from light sport.
So let's think about a young person who maybe says, well, light sport could be, kind of a great way for me to start. What skills would you advise they develop?
Like I said, basic understanding of aerodynamics. That's very, very important. If you understand that and if you understand weather, then you can get into light sport. And there's a lot of groups out there. Facebook, there's groups of like light sport airplanes. There's always all these people that get together and they'll get you into it. It's a community. It's something that you like. They'll get you into. Doesn't matter how. Like they be like, contact these people. He can get you training. This guy has an airplane and he let everybody use it. It's a community, right? So if you know the people, you can get into the hobby. So it's fun.
A couple of great points there. Levil Aviation does social media very, very well, and you guys have a great community. So if people were online and we've got some young kids that are like, well, you mentioned community, I'd like to go in and find some cool people. How can they find the Levil Aviation community?
So we have many different ways you can like get into the Levil Aviation community. We do have our Instagram page, which we're always posting and sharing our stuff. We also have the Facebook page, like our actual Levil Facebook page. And then we have a Levil Aviation community page where pilots that are building, they ask questions about how they did certain installation or what they have done or how they if they ask for advice, like I have this type of airplane, how do you install it? What did you install? So things like that. So it's the Levil Aviation official community page. That's what it's called on Facebook. Or you can go to our website, levilaviation.com. And if you scroll down on the homepage, you'll find the community page right there.
I know for a fact there's some really cool people in there. There's some aerobatic pilots and just a wide range of individuals who are ready to answer questions. I mean, if people post in there, the other people, as good communities do, pick up the slack and answer that question. It's really great. If there's any young people out there, I highly recommend doing that. We also left one of the things out where they can see you, one of the channels out where they can see you flying this absolutely gorgeous aircraft. We've got to talk about that in just a second. But if people want to watch this, it's usually you and Ananda flying these great tutorials, talking just really entertaining flights in 464 Charlie Papa. Tell us about the YouTube page.
Our YouTube page. So we started our YouTube page like 2 years ago. We started posting how to do some like calibrations or tech support stuff, and then we're getting a lot of attraction from all our videos. But we're Levil Aviation on YouTube, and then you can find Anand and I flying. We were thinking about doing some more adventure like flying and videos and things like that, but it's a lot of time that we are trying to spare to do that. And then we do lives too. We do lives on YouTube. And people come to our YouTube live and ask questions, and it's a conversation. And then I will do a nice conversation with the pilots. We also gather a bunch of like FAQs, and they will start answering them on online. And there's a lot of people that are doing installation, and they just come and ask questions on the chat, and we're just answering their questions. We're right there helping them out so they can install the unit properly.
Another great place for people to connect with Levil Aviation. Highly, highly recommended. I mean, you guys are next level awesome. You've been awesome for this interview. I mean, it's been a really good interview. Let's talk about 464 Charlie Pop-Up. One of the things that you have the airplane for is flight testing. Tell us about your flying test bed.
So 464 Charlie Papa, it's an RV9. Ruben built it back in 2000 something. It was finished back in 2008. And we've been using the airplane for doing all of our flight testing. We have all kinds of instruments. If you see our panel, it's full of different instruments we have. We have so many instruments there and on the airplanes. Like people sometimes like, oh, isn't that like too overkill? And it's like, well, we're flight testing. Yeah, we rely on this one right here, and then this ones are testing. They all work beautifully, and mainly because of uh we leave it there for like different type of testing, like heat, cold. We've had the wireless, I mean the trim tab autopilot in the RV for years, way before we even considered to have that as an autopilot for the market. But yeah, we have an autopilot that we haven't changed since 2013 or 2014 that's been installed in that airplane, and it's still there. We haven't changed a single thing. It's still working today.
And they can see that on the YouTube channel. I mean, it is an absolutely beautiful
Yes.
aircraft. I can attest to the fact that it flies just wonderfully with that autopilot. Well, I just twin just took off, so I lost it. Easily distracted by dogs and airplanes. Hey, I'm talking about airplanes, and I'm still getting distracted by them taking off. This is bad. So awesome, and it's really great to be able to do that with an aircraft to go and I mean, that's the beauty of the experimental market, right? Is that you can kind of experiment. Tell us about the advantages that offers.
So it allows to like create some things, and like I said, we do have like a very understanding of avionics and the forces of the airplane. So experimental not necessarily says like just go out there and try it, and just put some paper plane together and just put a motor in it and go fly. But it allows to do more things that you would do on a certified airplanes. It allows to, in the whole experimental world, it allows you to maybe get into aviation a little bit more affordably, just because there's so many instruments out there. They're great instruments. There are many things out there that you can install, like, and it's not only instrument, anything that you install on the airplane, like maybe a light bulb or things like that, that are the same as you would put on a certified airplane, but you just don't have the certified price tag. So in the RV, we're able to create all of these instruments that we have created in the past couple of years. Well, in the past 10 years, I will say. And that's how we got into that, allow us to get into where we are today.
Now, the great preface. Where's Level Aviation headed? Are you guys introducing anything new? What's in the future for you guys?
We have so many things that we want to. Our to-do list is like this big. That's why when you ask me like if we ever run out of ideas, I'm like, you have to see our to-do list of things that we want to do. Our next thing is to have full focus on the wireless autopilot. We're working on some things for flight training. That's something that we're working on, so we can install these units on flight training to collect data and things like that. So using special softwares and databases, you can basically, it's for everybody. It's for maintenance. It will be for the flight, for the student, for the instructor, for to do a review. Yes, it's something that we're working, because that's the beauty about the bomb. It collects all this data, but what do we do with this data? But with that data, you can see all kinds of things, how many G forces, things, because with G's we can measure how hard of a landing it was. With the G forces, also we can make it braking too much during the taxiing. So there's so many things that you can see with the unit that will help the student. It will help the school save money, and it will help the instructor to teach the student on aviation.
Avionics reimagined, indeed. I mean,
Indeed,
look at that.
yes.
There is the cutting edge right there. I mean, that's revolutionizing how data is used is a complete game changer right there. And it's no
Yes.
surprise that it's coming from Level Aviation. Now, you have been so awesome with so much great information. Ricardo, do you have a couple of minutes for some fun questions?
I do have a couple of minutes for some fun questions.
Oh, man.
My favorite in-flight snack is
Hey, you read the script. How did you know this? I see. You know my pitches, do you?
I know some of them.
Well, I hope I know the answer, although now you're going to switch it up on me. So, what is your favorite in-flight snack?
Empanadas.
Empanadas.
Yes.
Switch it up. Interesting.
So
Okay, what kind?
so there is a, where I fly to, there is a Colombian restaurant, and they used to be open very early in the morning. Like if I were going to do an early flight, that was my only breakfast option. So I will always get an empanada, and then if we're going to travel like to Miami, or if I was going to do some long cross country, I had to take an empanada with me. Yeah,
Calorically dense.
It is. It is. It was beautiful.
So if you're eating an empanada and somebody comes along and says, Ricardo, you can fly anything that you want to fly with your empanada. You probably have to bring one for them as well. What would you fly?
Oh, something that really has caught my attention, and it's funny now because we spoke about this earlier today that we haven't done is helicopters. I follow this guy on Instagram. He flies, I believe it's an R2, if I'm not mistaken. It's a very small helicopter, like a two passengers, very little. This guy just goes everywhere and put a little cooler in the helicopter and then just go and chill by the beach or a river. He just lands anywhere. He just goes lands right next to an ice cream shop and then gets some ice cream. Then he goes somewhere else. And I think it's like, man, this is the lifestyle I want. And the other airplane, I always had the dream of flying a seaplane. It's been my
So
bucket list. I have so many bucket lists. The other, so a Sea Ray has always been in my radar. And the other thing that always wanted to do, like really, really bad, is aerobatics. That's something that always gets my attention. And I don't have an aerobatic airplane. Otherwise, if I had an aerobatic rated airplane, then I would definitely take the aerobatic course. But it's a lot of money to do the training and then not have an airplane to fly. But if I ever had the opportunity to do aerobatic training, I'll take it.
I
That's
love it. That's a great answer.
so maybe an
Three-part
extra
answer.
or pit.
Oh, I know a guy. It's a little tough to get in and out of, but I know a guy.
I know. For me, the pits are very small, so that's why the extra is like that's
Man,
the one that calls my attention. If not,
really,
just a little RB7 that
you
will
can
do the job
stretch
for
out
me.
in there.
I have to get in. I have to get in. I'm a big guy. I'm a six foot three.
So, who are some of the top aviation creators or channels that you're watching or monitoring right now?
There's so many right now. I just put them on YouTube. I like I've been watching a lot of the what's his name Jimmy.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
He has his own world. Jimmy's world, I
yeah,
mean.
in his own world. And he's
He is in his own
I
world.
I actually got to meet him last week, and he's working on a beautiful seaplane actually. And then he's working on that project, and I can't wait to see that coming. But I always like how the the whole the whole process of his video, how he starts like just finding a junk airplane and just bringing it back to life. I think that's pretty cool. And it's beautiful. You see this old airplane, like you're thinking that thing has no life, and then he brings it back to life. So I think that's good. I love it. And I also been watching a lot of Fly with the Guys, Carl.
I love that guy.
He got me into aviation as well. Well, I have been into aviation because, like, as you can see, my entire family is into aviation. But he got me through flight training.
A guy who really is about affordable aviation. I mean, he is
It
trying to
is,
do it
yes,
on a budget.
yes. Great channel. Flight 8 MA. It's also great YouTube channel in Alaska. It's great. That's having one of my, and then I've been watching also like Tucker God from Paramotor, all that stuff, and then because that's what my new hobby is right now. So I've been seeing a lot of Paramotor videos. Every time I see a new video of like whoever the YouTuber is making flying by the Alps or flying by, I don't know, the beach, and it's like, oh, I want to do this. And I also doing this paramotor training. I met this girl from Egypt. She's doing trips to Egypt every year for paramotor, so you can fly around the pyramids and some on top
Whoa.
of, yeah. And she
Epic.
has she has contacts over there too. And then because you have to reserve the airspace, and so it's not something like, yeah, if I go to Egypt, I just go rent a paramotor and then just do it. But they have the whole training there, and then you can fly. And that's on my bucket list, and I hope to do it sometime in the near future. But imagine just flying around the pyramids. That would
Man,
be epic.
that is epic. That kind of leads into my last question is if somebody came by and said, Ricardo, you got 2 weeks, man, you can go wherever it is you want to go. Where are you going?
Like flying, like if I were to fly somewhere else,
Anywhere, yeah.
uh,
Anywhere,
there's
do anything.
there's I want to go to, so there's a different things. I like to travel a lot and then to get to see the world and things like that. But one continent I haven't visited is Africa, and I always wanted to go there, just to visit. That's one of the things I wanted to go. I want to go back to Patagonia. I think one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, just to go see the icebergs and the glaciers. We do some ice climbing. It was great. So that's some place I wanna go back. And visit a lot of Asia as well. Having there's so many stuff so many places I haven't been that I always wanted to explore. So we'll see.
So that right there is a very Leon Level Aviation answer. You're going to get a lot of things on that list, and it's the way it goes because you're such dynamic people, all of you coming together. You're all dynamic.
Yes.
It is just lots and lots of vigor, passion for the things like travel and aviation
And food.
and food. Boy, and food. You're going to get well fed at any Level Aviation gathering. I do know that. So from
Yes.
one last piece of advice from Level Aviation to our younger listeners about the aviation world.
Just go out there and do it. Just go out there and try it. Like I said, go find a community page. You'll be surprised. Like there's so many, whatever calls your attention, there's a community for that out there. Just find it on Google, find it on Facebook. There's a lot of chats. There's a lot of fly-ins, a lot of like breakfast flying. And even if you don't have an airplane, you can just drive in. You get to meet a lot of people. Go to trade shows. There's a lot of Sun and Fun, Oshkosh. There's little trade shows all over the year. Like there's trade shows all over the US as well. At the trade shows, you can meet all kinds of pilot, or any kind. Like sometimes you can be sitting on a bonfire. You can be talking to the guy that flies a little Cessna 172, and right next to you have a guy that flies an automatic airplane, and right in front of you have a fighter jet pilot, or maybe you have a blue engine. You never know who you're gonna meet, especially at the beer tent.
I know that bonfire, actually, incidentally.
Yeah, so
Phenomenal
just go.
advice.
Yeah, just go out there and then just try it. Like these shows, this like Sun and Fun, Oshkosh, you can just get there and a little tent, and you spend the weekend, and you'll have a great time, and you'll meet a lot of people. And then even if you find that community on your Facebook page, that community is probably going to be at the show. Some of them are going to be at the show. You can get to meet them in person, and then that's how you get started into aviation. So that's, I think, just go to shows and go meet people, find your community page, and get out there.
Phenomenal.
Even if it's just to watch, like Shawn always say, if you stick around long enough, you get to go fly.
That's it. I'm telling you, just look sad and people will take you, what do you need? They'll just
Yeah.
feel sorry for you. Thank you for listening. If you like this long-form interview, be sure to stay tuned for details about our upcoming flight club, and we'll see you at AirVenture.